Easy parking with Easy Trip, now available at Dundrum Town Centre. So you can now use your toll tags to park in our car parks. Simply register at easytrip.ie/parking. Easy parking with Easy Trip. Dundrum, where more happens.
Blog Talk Radio.
Are you looking to make your next event sizzle? Then you want to get in touch with Lee Entertainment. Mark Lee, the founder of Lee Entertainment, has worked with such notable festivals as the Art of Cool, the National Black Theater Festival, the Bull Durham Blues Festival, and the Durham Centerfest, as well as the Festival of the Eno. And it definitely can provide you with some great entertainers as well as help you make your event sizzle if you're looking forward to trying to have an event in your town. Mark Lee is willing to travel anywhere in this country to make your event sizzle and has entertainers that are also willing to travel as well. So if you're looking for quality entertainment, definitely get in touch at bluesradio@gmail.com.
Hey guys, want to kill that cable bill? How about getting a Netmaster? You can watch live TV, pay-per-view, premium content like HBO and Starz, all of the sports channels like NBA League Pass, NFL Red Zone, and every movie ever made. Pay for the box once, no monthly fees ever. For more information, contact Dean 13 Media at 609-807-1175.
The voice of the people is now known as Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. Call in and comment on the conversation at 646-668-83.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. It's another Monday night. Actually, the last Monday night in September, man. We're rolling. Fall is here. The weather's changing and all of that good stuff. But from NC to NJ, from NJ to NC, I'm in the studio with my man Mark Lee. So, Mark, tell me what's good down there in your neck of the woods, bruh.
Well, you know, it's a real busy weekend that we had this past weekend. And by the way, I think that we cut off the number, so just in case folks want to call in later on, it's 646-668-8393. Just want to get that clear in case folks were listening, because I think that they might have cut off the last two digits or whatever. But things have been rolling here. I mean, they've been rolling here real well because, like I said, we had all kinds of stuff happening at the HI this weekend. We had a quilt exhibit that is open. It'll be up until the end of the year. It's an African-American quilt circle. I might try to get some of those folks on our show in the near future, but they are some amazing quilts. I'm sure that you grew up with some of your elders providing you with quilts and stuff like that, so you would be very impressed with the quilts that these ladies have made. And they had some of the quilts were actually music inspired, and they had some of the musicians there that inspired their quilts to do a little bit of a performance. One of those performers was our friend Reese Palmer, who has been on our show. So she did 2 numbers, and she's also put out that she's getting ready to have, I think, her CD coming out very shortly, and there might even be a short deal with that as well. So she's very, very much excited about that, and I told her that we need to get her back on to talk about that. And then we had 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 theater productions going on at the Haytown because on Saturday afternoon there was a gospel production that came up from Greensboro. I think it was something like the Gospel Train or something like that, Get on the Gospel Train, or it had train in the title, but it was about, some ladies that were trying to get on up there to heaven, and some of them might not have been living as righteous a life as they thought they were, because at the end it looked like maybe only one person really made it up to the top of the train and actually got to go on that journey. But I didn't catch all the play, but that's the gist of what I got from it, was that there was some people that might have been claiming righteousness that were not all that righteous. And then on Sunday, we had a preview of a play. I believe it's called Skeleton Chase, and it's about the Detroit auto industry and some of the things that were going on several years ago with that Detroit community. And they've got a real powerful play, and they gave like a scene from that play to get people enticed to come to their show in October. And then the last night, this group Black Poetry Theater was doing Confessions of a Lounge Singer. So another one of our past guests, Hassan Ahanu, was the main star of that production. So it was definitely a nice little crowd there, and there was definitely some people enjoying that. The song gave some great poetry. There was some singing, and, it was set like in a nightclub kind of environment. So it was definitely a powerful play. And, this is the weekend of Art of Cool. You heard me, you mentioned that on the ad and everything. So this is the weekend that a lot of people will be coming down here for Art of Cool, as well as for some other events that will be going on associated with Art of Cool and just in general in the area. I believe we've also got in Raleigh the Bluegrass Festival, and in Carborough we've got the Carborough Music Festival. So, Durham and the Triangle is going to be jumping as always this weekend. We were jumping last weekend, and it looks like we're going to be jumping again next weekend. The Bulls had a little party, I think that was on the weekend as well, to celebrate their winning of the Governor's Cup. They won the Governor's Cup, but they got really beat down in the international championship. They were trying to go for 2 years in a row of being the AAA champions, but Memphis had something else to say about that, and Memphis spanked them real bad, like 14-4. But I can say that they won the Governor's Cup, which is the International League Championship, and they did make it to the AAA Championship 2 years in a row. They couldn't win it 2 years in a row, but at least we can say that they were there 2 years in a row.
Right. There's always something going on down there in the Triangle, Doc. If you live down there and there's nothing to do, you might be just a little boring. You know what I mean? It's always something to do down there, man. But I know my weekend was all right, man. I can't complain. Kind of laid back. I had outpatient surgery on my kidney, man, so it was kind of relaxed a little bit. But left work today, stopped to get something to eat before the show. I break off to the McDonald's. I order a double cheeseburger, a large fry, and a large sweet tea, right? Bro, they gave me a burger with just the 2 pieces of bread and 2 patties on that joint. I'm like, where the hell is the cheese?
Wow.
So I'm actually putting them on blast on the radio. The McDonald's on Beverly Red Cocas Road in Willingboro, New Jersey. You suck. And I just want to let you know, you suck. And it's just a sad state of affairs when a man can't get something as small as a double cheeseburger. You gave me a double meat patty with no ketchup, no mustard, no pickles, no cheese, nothing. I had the slave burger, bro. I don't know what they thought it was, but yes, I am putting you on blast, and I have no shame in my game because I really want to cuss, but I'm trying to keep it a little, PG for the folks that might be listening with the babies in the car. So
you were dead up in it. Oh, we've already got our guest on in, and I was hoping that she would be calling in, so I was looking forward to that. So let's bring her in and see if that's who I think it is.
All right, let's see who it may be. Thanks for calling Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. You are live on the radio. Who is on the line, and where are you calling from? Hello?
Hello?
Okay, we'll come back to that one. We got another one in the house, though. Thanks for calling Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. Hey, who's on the line?
Hi, this is Veronica Conway.
How are you doing, Veronica Conway?
Good, I'm good.
We are glad to have Veronica Conway on. Veronica Conway is one of our primary guests for this particular edition of Straight Talk. I was doing some research and doing some looking around the community and saw that Veronica Conway, we've connected on Facebook, Instagram, and some other mediums, but she is a success business coach. And, we are always having people on this show that are trying to talk about how they need to be successful, but it looks like she might have found some keys to this because she has created some great platforms and some things that folks probably need to be aware of. So let me welcome Veronica Conway onto the show, and we'll just start off with how you got involved in this. Because when I looked at your website, I was sitting there going like, wow, this woman has worked with people like Nike and Dale, and she even said like some athletes and entertainers, even though on her page she didn't want to drop any names. But she has definitely worked with some great folks and everything. So I just want to know how you got involved in this field because I know sometimes in our community, we oftentimes, and I noticed that you put this on one of your pages, in the past we would sometimes use other people as a reason for us not being successful. But it seems to me like you were not having that. You were like, look, we can't blame the other communities. We can't blame other folks. we kind of like try to work on being successful ourselves. And
sure.
I know that here in
sure.
Durham, North Carolina, I am proud to be in a community like Durham, which is home of one of the original Black Wall Streets. There were many in the community back in the day. Of course, there was Tulsa. I believe St. Louis might have had one. There was some out of the West Coast. Of course, Harlem was definitely a Renaissance kind of community. But Durham was also very much of a Renaissance community with a lot of Black businesses. Unfortunately, a lot of those, when the highways came through, fell by the wayside. But now there's a new group of youth that are coming up and creating businesses and creating very powerful businesses. So it seems like we are in the midst of maybe a new Renaissance. So that's just some of my thoughts. But I want to hear some of what you have to say about, one, how you got involved in the field, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me on. I'm honored to be here. I often say that, an angel descended from heaven and said, coach or die. And so I coached. But there really is sort of a historical context to my story, and that is that I was born the daughter of a former Black Panther, and my father, Veronica Bowers, was fighting for the freedom of Black people vis-a-vis the Black Panther Party in Oakland, California, back in the 70s. So I had a very colorful childhood. Before the age of 7, I experienced death threats. I was witness to police shootouts. I had to attend school under an alias. So I had a very sort of, colorful and some would say, traumatic childhood. My father got arrested when I was 7, and he's been incarcerated to this day. We've been in a pretty big fight to get him out of prison. But I would say that along the way, I began to ask myself the question, right? What's the difference that makes a difference? I saw my father live like a free man, even though he was incarcerated. And I saw a lot of brothers and sisters that were walking around free, ostensibly, but living lives of sort of mental and emotional incarceration, right? So I began to really ask the question, well, what's the difference maker? What has people, is freedom a choice or is freedom a function of your circumstances? And because I watched my father live like a free man, even though he was in prison, I got the sense at a very early age that freedom was a function of choice. And because I had gone through all that I've gone through in terms of, my own experience, my own lived experience being the daughter of a Panther, being sort of in this very, I would say, dangerous and sort of, fraught with all kinds of stuff in this situation, I also had to go to work to do healing on myself, right? I had to heal myself. I had to say, how do you recover from, having a gun put to your head at age 7? How do you recover from, just some of the more dangerous aspects? We internalize our lived experience, right? So if we've been through trauma, if we've been through these experiences, we internalize those. And I knew that I had a deep sense, because I wanted to help our people, right, by the time I got to college, by the time I got to Berkeley, that we needed to recover and heal from some of our traumatic lived experiences, right? Because who's been through more trauma on the planet, reconciled, unaddressed, unhealed trauma than Black folks, right? We've lived really traumatized lives. So I founded the world's first Black Coaching Association, right? So I designed an organization of 250 Black coaches. We developed a model of coaching that was specific to the Black community, the Black Mastery Program, and that's all about identifying your race wound, right? The first time you found out what it meant to be Black is often a traumatic experience, right? So so I learned hypnosis, I learned coaching, I learned all this stuff, I learned all these tools so that I could help people shift their internal paradigm, their internal framework, their internal way of being, so that they can have more, be more, do more. So that's the long answer to your question about how I got into it. But there's
Just to go more into that in a little bit, and then we'll talk about some of the other platforms that you've created and everything. But it seems to me that in some ways you're actually continuing the legacy of what your dad did, because I know some people that have been involved in the Panther Party. My dad himself was involved in civil rights struggle. He's now an artist, a visual artist here in the local community and everything. But he was